All right, y'all. So I'm back. Just did a nice little check-in. I wish I had some nice little elevator music or maybe something to kind of get the vibe going, get the vibe going right. Got some little, I'm gonna have that. I'm gonna get that in the future. Okay. I'm gonna get that in the future so that we can kind of get some vibes going in the future and all that good stuff. Um, we're still just hoping, waiting that we can get my girl on here, y'all. So thank you for bearing with us. She's probably, my guess, she's probably landing right now. My guess is that she's probably landing right now, but I do want to go ahead and kind of just start diving into it. And I think she'll jump in as soon as she gets here. And we can go from there, y'all. I'm really excited about this conversation. I can definitely say when it comes to, navigating those personal and professional relationships, it can get complicated. Especially if you recognize that the responsibilities of a certain role that, someone in your personal life may be aiming toward, they may not necessarily have them yet, or may not necessarily have the skill set developed fully to execute. I can imagine how that can be hard, and being in those positions where it's like, how do you kind of communicate that to a person? So really excited to kind of dive into that and kind of give some examples of how best to navigate those moments, and how to keep those relationships going. But I will say, and I want to encourage everybody to just remember, at the end of the day, references and recommendations are ultimately a big part of the person whomever you're asking for a reference or a recommendation from. You have to also take into account that their reputation is directly, affected or impacted by however you handle that situation. You know what I'm saying? So if you get a referral to a major company from one of your relatives and you show up on some unprofessional type of energy, that's a reflection of not only yourself, but them as well, because they made that call for you, and so that'll actually impact whether or not people take recommendations and references from them in the future. And it's kind of one of those things where, if you fumble it when somebody passes you the bag, it actually has a domino effect and can affect a lot of other people. So we're really going to get into a lot of that today, which is really a vibe. Just give me 1 second so I can pull some stuff up. I'm really excited though, y'all. Hold on. Okay. So let's get into it. Yeah. So one of the first things that I really feel like is important to dive into when we're talking about all of this is, evaluate your skill sets or the skill sets of the person that whomever you're talking to and experience before making a connection. Like I was just saying, both parties' names are on the line, right? So if you have someone reach out to you and they're like, hey, yo, can you plug me with a manager over at, whatever reputable management company? Understand that not only is it that you now have the opportunity to present yourself professionally and get the opportunity to kind of secure some of that representation, but it's also a representation of the person whom you're asking. Like, however you handle that, they're going to think back on the person that you're asking, like, hey, they sent this person over to me, did this person execute? And the good part about these types of situations is like when you surround yourself with a lot of people who you're like, okay, I know I could put you on in any situation. When you throw somebody that opportunity and they kill it, that also helps you as well. And I feel like that's part of one of the things that I really wanted to hone in on and focus on today in this episode is like the beauty that comes from when you have a good balance of that personal and professional, like the beauty that comes from when, you make that referral and they kill it. That goes a long way. I've made referrals several times. I've helped a lot of people in the entertainment industry to land some jobs. And it's really dope to see when, they go into the job and they're hungry and they kill it and they just go in and like really just make a name for themselves. Because not only was it like, yo, I helped you to get another opportunity that helped to propel your career, but it also helped both of us in the future. You know, now if I ever wanted to make another referral for someone else, they're more than likely going to be willing to listen to me or trust my judgment or trust my connections, because I already helped them to find the necessary asset or team member that they needed to continue moving their mission forward. And the same thing goes for you. You know, if someone puts you into a position and lines up an opportunity for you and you go in and you kill it, now you've gained the leverage, and now you've gained the ability to kind of be able to, sorry y'all, let me turn my phone off, that's Lottie. You'll have the ability to be able to really make those types of referrals on your own as well. So just keep that in mind. Let me get 1 second. I'm going to try and get my girl up in here, but just keep that in mind, you know, like the real power and the value of when you really make that connection and it goes in and it does it well, like, and you go in and you kill it. Now you both have the opportunity to create more opportunities for other people. Now you both can say, oh, look, I do a really great job, and I know this other person that does a really, really, really great job. Highly recommend that we should, you know, include them. Things like that. It helps. So when it works, y'all, it really, 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 really works. But it's super important to really evaluate, you know, when you find out, you know, you have a friend or whatever the case may be, you have a former company that you may have worked with and you know they're looking to add to their team, or you know you have someone who's looking to hire a certain person with a certain skill set and you're like, oh, I got somebody like that in my network. Before you make the connection, I personally think it's really important to really evaluate, like, okay, what are the roles and responsibilities? What exactly are you expecting from this person? And then from there, kind of do your own vetting before you put your name on the line. You know what I'm saying? Like, do your own vetting. Okay, do I have somebody in my network that can handle this opportunity? Do I know that they have the necessary skill sets to be able to execute on it? And don't be afraid to explain why. You know, don't be afraid to explain why in those moments. If you feel like, you know, you may not necessarily be able to have the alley-oop in that moment, don't be afraid to explain to your friend, hey, look, I would really love to help you out, but I just want to be, you know, transparent. They're really looking for someone that has extensive in this, and that, or this, and that, or they're looking for someone who's already had these levels of connections. How can we be helping you to get more qualified for this opportunity in the future? I may not be able to help you with it right this second, but how can we work together to get you more qualified and more ready for that type of opportunity in the future? I hope that makes sense. But that's definitely one of the things that I really wanted to touch on, is like the importance of doing your own vetting in advance, you know, and don't take it personally. You have to remember that at the end of the day, while you may make a request or someone may make a request of you, like it's more than just, my girl is, y'all see, this is airport swag. You look good in the airport.
Oh, thank you. I can't put my glasses. It was a short flight. How's it going? Sorry, I don't know where we are, but I'm here. Hi.
I was stalling for a little bit for you, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna just dive into one little point. Y'all, okay, can we reset this for a second? What's up, y'all? Happy Sunday. Welcome to Hear Us Out. Oh, wait, I do this every time. Hear Us Out. Okay.
Dude,
I'm Rhyver.
I'm crying.
We got Ladi over here at the airport on her way to South.
Yo.
Great teens. Okay. What's up, Ladi?
Can we? Dude, I'm so tired. It was daylight savings this weekend, so yeah. It threw me off so bad. And also, even though it's Sunday, it feels like Monday. It's giving big Monday energy.
I feel you on that. We were talking about that, me and whomever may be listening. You know, I'm over here trying to balance all of the different things. We talked about that. You know, I'm like, it's happening today. But we here. You know, I dove in a little bit. We started talking a little bit about, you know, balancing. We mainly started talking about you know, the importance of vetting, doing your own vetting of people's experience and skill sets before you make those connections. Like, it's important for you to vet people. It's important for you to find out from, you know, if you have that friend at a company who's like, hey, Ladi, can you plug me with somebody we're looking to hire in this position? You vetting your friend at the company, like, well, wait a second, what are you actually looking for? So I know the right person. But then also vetting on your end, who do I know who actually has the skill actually be able to deliver on that in the capacity that I think that they're looking for. So
exactly.
That's kind of where we started out. That was just the main point that we touched on a little bit. We didn't get too deep on that yet. So
through recap. Whoever wasn't taking notes, take notes now.
taking those
no,
notes.
that's such a real thing. Cause like the funny thing is a lot of times when people come to you, like especially like via text or DM, be like, hey, like someone will be good for like this insert role here. It'll be like, okay, cool. They're not really gonna send you like a formal job description because a lot of times they're looking before that's even out. So I always ask them really quick, hey, can you send me like 3 things that are required, like skills for this role? Like, does it require travel? How many years of experience do you want? Like, are there certain programs you want them to learn? Because obviously, like, depending on the type of role, you have a sense of, okay, like this is what is needed to accomplish this. But sometimes there are very specific things that they have in mind that you don't know.
Right.
So
no, that's a fact. That's a fact. And I want to say too, like, at the end of the day, I'm all for people shooting their shot and being like, look, I may not know how to do it, but I can learn it on the job. That's I admire it. I agree with it. I align with that. But there are definitely some situations where it does require sometimes certain roles, certain situations, they really do require a certain level of like, you just have to meet these certain things. For example, there are some positions definitely in the music and media industries where it really requires you having a network. Like if you don't have access quickly and easily to certain key players in the industry, sometimes it's a little hard to kind of fake it until you make it type of thing.
Right.
They need you to get on the phone and call the head of Interscope. They need you to get on the phone and call somebody over at UTA.
Like directly too, not like you need to get a transfer to a transfer to a transfer. Like it
like
needs
they
to
need
be
you,
correct.
they need to be, you pick up the phone and the other person answers type of vibe. Then it's better to just be honest with yourself. Again, don't take it personal if your friend is like, oh, I may not be able to plug you on this one. Here are the reasons why.
Right.
Remember, if you're the friend that somebody's asking for a plug from, it's important to communicate. Don't just shoot your friend down, but communicate like why they may not necessarily be the best fit. Because at the end of the day, that's how you can help them to understand what they need to learn, what they need to get better at, what areas they need to grow in. Like I'm a big proponent of like, let's help each other eat. Like if I can't help you get the job right now, I can at least help guide you to, what skill sets you could be learning over time to help you more qualified.
No, that is such a fantastic point. And his name is escaping me. Oh damn! But this is one guy who I follow on LinkedIn, and I'm gonna comment his link after. But he's always posting like different jobs, and he's like, "Hey, like this is actually like more of a junior level position, but if you're someone who's entry level, these are the skills that you should learn in the next 2 years, so you could be eligible for this kind of position." And I'm like, I love this because people who are literally aspiring professionals know what the track looks like to get to that role.
Yeah, and it's like, come on, like if you're a person who's connected and you do often have people coming to you being like, hey, can you help me, locate this person or this or that. I think it does really help when you're willing to kind of play it forward and just say like, yo, here is how we can be guiding. Like the more I feel we can guide each other on how to get better at things, the better off we're all going to be. And it helps people just grow. Like it's really hard sometimes. The entertainment industry, media industries, all of them, they're really hard to navigate sometimes when it comes to like the upward trajectory of the careers. But knowing what you need to learn and like figuring out how to get access to that, game changing, absolutely game changing. So keep those points in mind for sure. And that kind of helps us to segue too into that second point of like, one of the things we really wanted to talk about, which is directly related to this, is like setting your friends up for success, like setting your friends up, setting your family up for success. Like when it comes down to evaluating these types of opportunities, one of the biggest ways you can be setting them up for success is kind of explain like, this is what's needed. How much do you know about it? Okay, but this is actually it kind of means like, I think a big portion of this, like navigating the personal and professional, I personally feel is like you kind of have to remove taking things personally. Obviously, how things are communicated is important. Let's be real. Like you can't be like, girl, I ain't about to get you this job by. Like, okay, you could. If that's how you want to be, that's how you want to be, go for it. But I think the healthiest way to navigate this type of balance is to remember that like if a person says they can't refer you for a certain reason, maybe try not to take it so personally. Obviously, I know there are certain situations where it is necessary to take it personal, but try not to take it so personally and step back and see, remember like how we talked about right before you got on, Ladi, like reputation's being on the line, you know.
Listen,
Today,
especially when you yourself are climbing the ladder, it's like it could be one bad referral that can knock all that down. Because once people lose their confidence in you, it's a wrap. It takes a lot to get that back. And there's leeway for more people than others. We personally don't got as much leeway as some
we
other
don't.
people.
We don't. You're not wrong. We don't. So when
we don't come from entertainment families, we're not, a particular demographic.
So it's harder, you know what I'm saying? So when you make that one ask and somebody refers you, remember that it's on you, like how you perform when you get that referral, when you get your foot in the door from somebody helping to line you up. Remember that it's not just you that you have to be focused on. It's also like, how am I handling this in the best way, because their name is on the line too. Like, remember that part. It's not just a
$1,000,000%. And also, it's like, if you as the person referring your friend are questioning whether that person's going to represent you in the best way, that might be the sign that it's not the time yet, or they're not the person, or whichever else. Like, you really should have 110% confidence. Like, oh, this person could definitely like crush this role. They just need the chance. If they just need the opportunity, look. But if it's the opportunity and a few skill sets, then
yeah. I mean, yeah. And to me, I kind of feel like when it comes to that, it's like, if I want to go for a job, and somebody's like, River, I may not be able to refer you because I feel like you kind of need a little bit more experience in this and that. Obviously, I'm gonna be like, dang, that does suck. And I'm human. So I'm gonna have I'm gonna feel my feels, but consider it an opportunity to learn. Like, consider that the opportunity that, like, oh crap, okay, the path has just been lit up for me. Now I know what I'm supposed to do. And if I just double down on those things that they said, the next opportunity will come and I'll be more prepared for it.
Exactly. It's about being ready. It's about being ready. Like, what's that one phrase? I'm really bad at these idioms. Like, luck is when opportunity meets preparation. Boom, got it. Yeah, like that's a real thing, right? And heavy on the preparation, like it's got to be there, honey. And like in entertainment, a lot of opportunities will come and go, but it's like, if you're not ready, you're not going to leave the impression that you want.
Yeah, and it's so important. Like, you want to put your best foot forward. You don't want to, like, I say this all the time, stay ready. You don't have to get ready, because the last thing you want to happen is you some big opportunity. You're not ready for it at all. You take it and then you don't execute in the way that you need to. And that was your one shot. Like we just said,
because that fumble's gonna look crazy.
Our people in this industry, music, media, entertainment, a lot of times you really do get one shot. Sometimes you get more than one. Obviously, everybody's situation is different, but for the most part, you get that one opportunity to get your foot in the door and you got to just dominate it, take advantage of it. So if you don't feel like you're quite ready yet, be honest with your friend too. I've been in situations where I tried to refer, or I would hit up a friend and be like, hey girl, or, what up, homie? Like, I heard so-and-so is looking for this role. Would you be down? And they'd be like, I've had one of my friends, for example, there was an animation role that was opening up, and I was like, yo, I know you're trying to get into animation. Do you want me to pass your resume? And she was like, you know what? I just started at my company. It wouldn't be right for me to leave this soon.
Come through awareness.
I'm trying to develop my skill set. So I appreciate you, but I can't do it. I respect that.
Seriously. Honestly, when people are self-aware enough to turn themselves down, respect.
Because you recognize the value of the opportunity. Like, I'm not in the space quite yet to dominate this in the way that it's necessary, or it'll cause me to maybe hurt another business relationship that I have.
For sure.
Let me handle this in a different way. So I think that's definitely something to like, that's like key. Like, key. Again, goes into you just got to be able to like remove the personal from it and just be like, okay, am I really in the position to dominate this right now? Am I in the position to represent myself well, my friend well? Do I have?
And honestly, like, that's such a rare level of self-awareness, because we're kind of like in this era where they're like, oh, imposter syndrome and fake it till you make it, yada yada yada. And it's like, maybe it's not imposter syndrome. Maybe you actually just are not good at that particular thing. I know nobody wants to hear that, but sometimes you're just not the one. And if they continue to make it, it's more so in relation to like having a certain level of like confidence in your abilities. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna pretend I have like these 7 skills that I know nothing about, and I'm gonna Google them just to get through the interviews. It's like, ooh, like, you know, I love a good finesse, but
it only gets you so far, because when you start on day one, they're going to expect that you already know how to execute, to dive in. You know, a lot of jobs in the entertainment industry, there are some, obviously, everyone has to deal with different types of leadership. So naturally you will have micromanagers, but there are a lot of jobs, like a lot of the people that I've worked for in the entertainment industry really wanted me to just jump in and just do it. Just go, just do it. Just take it. Just throw things at the wall. Take initiative.
Right,
do it.
right.
That in itself is a skill set. Like, it has to be developed over time, and you have to have a certain level of understanding of the business in order to even really effectively just take initiative. You have to understand how one thing affects the other thing. And if you don't necessarily have that level of like understanding or skill set or experience, it's okay to say, hey, maybe I need to approach this in a maybe more entry level or something like that. Like, don't be afraid to just say where you're at and see what they say. That's the best thing you could do when someone's trying to refer you or you're trying to get a referral. Is, you know, I would definitely say ask, like, what are the key things that someone needs to have or know or have experience in order to succeed in this role? And then be honest with yourself. Like, do I have that? Be honest with yourself. Is the person that I'm looking to refer in my network, do they have that? Because that's a big part of it.
And if you have a job description, that makes it so easy, right? Because it literally will tell you. It literally will say 2 years of this. And the funny part is job descriptions now have the requirements, but they also have would be great if 3 bullets, you know, it's like they'll list like the above and beyond stuff too. So you're like, okay, cool. Like, I might not need to know these things or have proficiency of these things, but I'm seeing that the perfect type of candidate would be able to fulfill these tasks. So something to keep in mind as well.
That's a word. Yeah, that's a really good point you bring up too. I feel like the job descriptions really give you some insight too, because I think those are confidence boosters too. And it's like, okay, I have the necessary responsibilities. And then they're like, and these other things are a plus. And you like, I got them, you know? If you got those friends where you like, I know that she can crush on the regular and she can crush on the extra stuff too, I'm about to throw your name in there. Those are the perfect opportunities. But I think a lot of it goes into just, like we said, being honest with yourself, being honest, your friends being honest with you about skill set and experience. Best way to navigate. A lot of honesty, a lot of removal of the personal is the best way to navigate trying to put the homies on. But Ladi, so what happens when you have to say no?
Yeah, you know what's interesting? So first off, I try really, really hard to not even like mention things to friends who I don't think is good for something. So I used to be like, oh, I'm gonna like tweet it out or like put it on Instagram stories, like, oh, we could do this. But then like you end up having to say no to way more people when you do it like that. So now I'm like very selective. Like even I did this with you like the other day. I'll go to a friend. If I can't think of someone off top, I'll go to a friend and be like, hey, like I know someone is looking for someone for this position. You know, these are the different skill sets. Do you have anyone in your network? Sometimes you gotta have a few degrees of separation. Like it might not be the homie, it might be the homie of the homie. So that's how I reduce the chance of me having to turn someone down. Be like, oh nah, it's not you, fam. Like,
yeah, because then that's your name being put on the line for someone you actually really don't know.
Yeah.
And you know, they may be like, I don't know, Lottie, why I gotta represent her with whoever she is. I don't know her like that. So it's okay if I quit tomorrow after I just started today. You know, yikes.
That is hilarious.
I agree with that. I agree with that for sure. I definitely think I have been in that position before where I put it out too wide and then I was like, oh, I put this out too wide. Now I have to kind of like explain to a lot of people.
Yeah, and sometimes like listen, it can work either way. Like I've had the opportunity where I put something out wide. The first 2 responses were fire. Then you just delete the tweet at that point. Delete this tweet. It's like
never happened.
I don't need no responses. But there are times where it's like it's too wide and it's too long. Like, you know, like you throw it up overnight, you wake up in the morning, it's like 80. I'm like, oh damn. But and the cool thing is you can maybe build like a little directory or something. But yeah, sometimes just shooting somebody a quick text. can do the trick.
Do the back channels first. Yeah, I 10 out of 10 recommend. Do the back channels first. And then if you have to, if it's like, okay, I didn't get any hits on the back channels, then you can put it out there more wide. Another thing that I have seen done very well when it comes to this too is like, I had a friend recently who and I loved how she handled this too. I had a friend recently who reached out to me and she was like, hey, you know, where did you work previously? And I'm like, oh, I worked here. And she was like, okay, I'm about to apply for a job there. Can you talk to me a little bit more about it before I apply? Because I just want to get a sense of, and because I knew her skill sets, I was like, no, I really think like you could kill it. And it was a moment where she was feeling like, I'm looking at this description, but I don't know if I have it. And I'm like, it was a really cool moment for me to be like, no, you got it. And then some. Like I'm about to reach out to
right. I'll talk to somebody.
I'm gonna go to the top of the food chain for this one. I'm sending the resume all the way to the top. We're gonna make sure you get this call. We're gonna make sure you get this, like, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's finding that balance. Like when you have to say no, it is definitely awkward, but I think it only gets awkward when you realize maybe you could have went about it a little bit more intentional with how you even put the ask or the I'm looking for the ISO.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
Exactly. You have to be intentional about that before you put it out. I think that'll help you get closer to the targets that you're trying to reach too, so that the no isn't so like, hey girl, yeah, I actually don't know you like that. So ultimately I can't plug you. I know we follow each other, but I've never actually seen your
That
work.
Is so funny. That is hilarious. Yeah, but oh damn. Can you hear the airport sounds, of course? But yeah, no, it's so funny because again, like I think how people talk about like compliment sandwiches. Sometimes you could do that if you know someone like well enough, like if they're close enough to you, you could be like, hey, like I think you're actually really passionate about this, yada yada yada. But like this particular role, like needs like this, that, and this skill set. But I think if you give it like a good 6 to 12 months more, like you'll be perfect. Like I personally, I never want to discourage anybody from trying to pursue anything. So like any sort of like glimmer of hope I can give someone while rejecting them kind of makes it a little less
that's a word. No, I agree because that's the reason why I always say it. I think like I said, for me personally, if I have to tell somebody no, it's not just going to be no, but I'm going to explain to you why. And then I'm going to also try to give you some form of like, at least a nugget of where to point you in the right direction to better set you up for success in the future. I feel like that's the best thing that you can do when you have to navigate saying no. So it's kind of like, I'm not just telling you no, but I'm also like helping you, give you a nugget to point you in a better direction that can help set you up for success later. At least that's that's how I think about it for sure. And Lottie's favorite thing, she talked about it right now, and we both gave examples. Outsourcing, y'all. Outsource. Like she said, she hit me up the other day. She was like, yo, I'm trying to help someone with this and that. Like, how would you handle this? Like, do you have any connects? I'm like, oh, yep. I got you. I can put this here. You're going to get the exact target that you're looking for. That's who's in this. That's who's going to come. Boom, outsource. She's like, bet, great. This is going to be great.
Yeah, no, we still got to follow up on that. Actually, I got a few people I got to follow up on that on, but not. And this is especially good for when there is not a job description. Because when there's a job description, you can just post that on LinkedIn. It's like anyone can like apply. It's an open thing. But when it's like, like it's this high profile person and they need this, that, and the third. Yeah, child, I gotta ask the right ones because I'm not gonna be the reason why that person and their whole network hates me. Like I'm not.
Oh, that's important. That's super important because of your reputation at the end of the day. When it's higher profile, I definitely move way, like I bet naturally, but if it's a higher profile or if it's like you calling and you want me to get you into like a major company,
you need to act like you've been here before and you need to have been there before. I'm sorry. Like it's a different ball game. It's a harder ask.
Harder ask for sure. Definitely a harder ask, especially if I know, let's keep it real. This industry is pretty cutthroat. you gotta have really thick skin. Like, you have to have thick skin, and you have to recognize that it moves very fast paced. And a lot of people don't, they just don't, they feel like they don't have time. And some people, they don't, you know, a lot of times, like the personal, there's a big lack of work-life balance. So like having a bunch of personal issues, it's not like that, but like a lot of people be like, I don't have time to do, okay, what do you want me to do about that? Like, we still have a job to do. So
yeah, no, they do not be caring, dog. They do not care.
They don't. They do not care. Okay. I'll be like, dang, yikes, I gotta work through this sickness. No, work-life balance, y'all. Please take care of yourselves. But
no, I was
I love this
every
episode.
time I try to open my mouth, somebody
I love this episode.
Someone like is late to the gate. I hope they get to the gate in time. Damn. But like, you know, I was telling you the other day how like I literally have been like bedridden and nobody knows, right? I'm like taking the calls. I got my setup. I got my background. Like nobody knows when you're going through it. And nobody
cares. No, that's true. That's true. It's a dog eat dog world for sure. I've definitely done that. I hear you, especially when we were working from home. I'm like in my bed, like I have so many friends. Oh my gosh, shout out to them. I have so many friends who had COVID and they were like trying to do email, like just literally nobody cares. It's
really it's like you just hanging on, trying to make it work.
Very small thread. I mean, it's like, you know, the hairs of the thread are starting to, you're just hanging on, literally. So definitely outsourcing is important, but then also keeping in mind to like, I feel like we're just gonna keep coming to that point. We're just gonna keep coming back to the point of like, you really got to remove the personal from it. Even though we're talking about balancing personal and professional relationships across the board, if you can take away okay, wait a minute, why do I feel like they're about to tell me they're not going to be able to help me with this right now? What is it that I could be doing, or what is it that I may have said, didn't say? What experience do I have or maybe not have that could be contributing to why they feel like I might not be the best fit for this type of thing? And what's another really quick recap? What else did we say? Oh, doing the vetting, making sure the experience is.
That's the most important part. That's screening. Because like the thinner the films, the screen is, and less BS is gonna come through. It's like you can't
do it.
You can't do it.
At the end of the day, you know, you want to make sure it's straight. So y'all have heard from us. Let me see. Let me make sure. Are there any questions? What's going on? are we streaming? I hope we're actually streaming. You know, I'll be looking. I'm like,
oh my God, you know, that'd be hilarious if this is not live. I would throw it on the thing anyway. I'd be like, listen, guys, y'all gonna watch this pre-recording. Like whatever.
No, we're streaming. We're streaming on Twitch. Now it says sending data to Twitter. I don't know what that means, but I hope that means that we were on Twitter just now. Are we?
You know, I hope we were, but I told everyone to subscribe to the Twitch channel anyway. So I hope you subscribe, besties.
Okay, I have an emotional taco is like so true. Hello, so true. Yes, emotional taco. You be rocking with us. I feel like I know who emotional taco is. Actually, I think I know who that is. What's up, emotional taco? Thank you for coming through again. You were here with us last week. You're here with us again. Yeah, I'm glad that you're vibing with it. This is really important combo for us. We were really excited about it. And honestly, you know, my girl is in the airport right now. So if there are no questions, we won't belabor it. You know, let me make sure there's nothing on Twitter either.
Yeah, I do gotta hop off. Look, I gotta get to the gate for my next flight. Connecting. We going to Austin, baby. South by Southwest. You going to South by Southwest? I'll let you go.
Tap in with Ladi if you're going to South by Southwest. Okay, she's out there. Campfire XYZ's out there. You know what I'm saying?
Hey. Well, this is dope, y'all.
Yes.
Holla at us. And
holla at us.
Got questions, so we're more than happy to answer them after the fact.
That's right. So comment on any of the channels that you see this on. If you see it on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, wherever, just shoot a comment on there and be like, yo, I actually have a question on this, and we'll get into it. But for now, that's pretty much it. We'll be back here, same place, same time next week. So we're so excited to see you there. Thank y'all for tuning in. to episode.
Episode 2, putting your friends on, balancing the personal and professional.
You feel me? This is Hear Us Out. Oh, dang, I do that every time. This is Hear Us Out. Okay. The music and media blueprint. I'm River. My girl Lottie.
I'm Lottie. And yeah, we'll catch you next time.
See you next week, y'all. All right, Lottie, be safe.